So I have some nurses who just stand out, and I don't know how many persons have noticed it. And it's not because they know everything or because they've been in the job the longest. Because some persons, they show up like yesterday and they leave an impression. Patients seem to trust them a little bit more. Their co-workers respect them. Opportunities seem to find them. But what is it? Is it because of luck? No, it's because of habits. And we're going to just talk a little bit about it today, because some of these habits that we have, it can quietly separate us from the average nurses out there. And that is what we want as nurses in our careers, to progress. So we're just going to talk a little bit about how, as new nurses, as international nurses, or as somebody who is trying to grow in nursing, how we can stand out amongst, you know, all the others out there. So if you're one of those persons, this video is for you. Because standing out is not, you know, when it comes down to standing out in nursing, it's not about being perfect. It's about, you know, you being intentional. We need it because everybody needs to grow. Let's just talk about some habits that can actually make a difference in our patient's life as well as in our life. The first thing is that when it comes down to preparation, we need to try to start preparing before our shift starts. Yes, a lot of nurses will walk into chaos very unprepared, but if you want to stand out, you have to arrive early. That will settle your mind. You get a chance to review the patient assignments, and you're organized a little bit better with your workflow. It reduces your stress throughout the day, and it also increases your confidence, because when you're a little bit more calm, you realize that you perform a little bit better. The next thing is to prioritize your safety and the patient's safety over speed. Nobody wants to just be working fast all the time, because fast doesn't impress anyone. It's usually a little bit unsafe. So if you want to stand out as a nurse that is, you know, safe, you have to always be prepared. Always ask yourself when you're giving a medication, if this is the correct medication, if the patient have any drug allergy, is the patient safe? Don't just rush about and do things. Just make sure you're doing it efficiently. The focus is on being safe, and that is going to build trust with your patient and your co-workers or with the institution. The next thing is we need to learn to communicate clearly and calmly. Especially depending on the department that you're working in, you can tell a strong nurse by how they communicate, how they speak. Even in a stressful, you know, situation, it's always good to give clear updates, ask direct questions, avoid confusion. If you don't really understand something, clarify it. Don't panic and try to be loud. You understand? Because that is not going to help. You want to bring calm into the environment, and that is something that we need to learn to start practice. And the energy, yes, you need to give good energy. The negative energy, no, because that kind of energy spreads throughout the department. Another thing is that we need to learn to start asking questions, and when it comes down to your ego, we need to kind of let go of it. Because some nurses, they stay stuck because they don't ask questions because they're afraid. If you want to stand out, you have to ask the questions, even when sometimes we feel as though the question is dumb. Yeah, ask it anyway, because that's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to prevent mistakes today as well as tomorrow. And if you're trying to be smart, yeah, you have to ask questions. And it's not about being smart either. You just want to make sure that you're safe and competent in everything that you're doing. So always ask questions, because there are other persons out there who are thinking about the same question that you're wondering, is it something that really needs to be asked? The other thing that we really need to do is to stay organized. And organization is one of the superpowers, I think, that you definitely need in nursing, because you will stand out as a nurse because you're keeping track of your task, you're clustering your care, and you're managing your time a little bit more intentionally. So organization is something that will help you. You're not going to only rely on your memory, because a lot of times when the department is busy, you will realize that it's just the organization that you have from before that will save you throughout your shift. The next thing that a lot of us are not doing is taking responsibility or accountability for our own action. If you want to stand out as a nurse, don't blame others when something goes wrong, especially when you know that you create a problem. You have to learn to ask yourself, what could I have done better? You know, what you learn from the situation. And that kind of mindset is going to accelerate your growth. That is what you want. You want to know that you can accept, you know, when a situation goes wrong and it's your fault, because accountability is a skill that, you know, You build that skill faster than excuses will ever, will do. The next thing is you have to learn to observe. You have to learn to observe, your environment constantly. Don't just show up to work and that's it. You have to study the environment. Notice how, the nurses are handling their pressure. Notice how the doctors communicate and how they handle things. How emergencies are managed, because on every shift you are learning. There's always something for you to learn on every shift, and especially as international nurses or new nurses who are trying to adapt to a new system, a new department, this is something that you definitely need to learn to do. And then the other thing that we need to do definitely is learn to protect your energy. Not every situation out there is going to deserve a reaction. We know that nursing is a high stress career. You have to stand out as a nurse, and you have to know when to stay professional, even when you have difficult patients, difficult co-workers. You have to know when to avoid the unnecessary drama. You have to learn to reset after a hard moment, because yes, emotionally, we have it, you understand? But emotional control is a part of professional strength, and we need to always stay professional at all times. You need to learn to start building strong patient connection as well, because patient remembers the small details, how you make them feel. A lot of us, we don't take the time out to listen to our patient. We don't really show that much empathy. We don't explain things clearly, because yes, in the US here, healthcare is a business. But we need to be reassuring our patient, making eye contact, answer the questions. This is going to help with building trust with them quickly. And the next thing I want to say is we need to learn to start thinking beyond our shift. Average nurses, they focus on just getting through the shift, getting through the day. If you want to stand out, you have to start thinking about what is it that you want for the future. What skill am I building on? How am I improving? What's my next step? You understand? These are the things that if you want to grow, you have to focus on. And so I do hope that this video will help you to focus a little bit more on how you can stand out in nursing. Not just, by being loud, because we don't want any loud person in nursing. There are so many persons out there that are loud. We don't want to stand out as being a loud nurse, but we want it to be a case where we are competent. We're not competing against anybody. We just want to be the best version of ourselves every shift that we show up for. You understand? Because the small habits that we have, everything that we repeat daily, those are the things that are going to create like big results for us. And if we do that, then you will be a strong nurse. You will be a better nurse. You will grow better or grow stronger in the nursing career. And so I do hope that, as you go out there, I want us to choose to stand out by start creating and developing habits that will help with us, in our career. I do hope you will have a wonderful day. Remember to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page here at ThinkNursing. Turn that notification bell on for more content. And if you know a nurse or two, or anybody who needs a little bit of a motivation, feel free to go ahead and have them subscribe to my page, and definitely turn their notification bell on as well, so they can actually get the content as soon as I upload. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye.